Hi guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Money Chat with Hafsat. My name is Hafsat, and as usual, I'm here to talk about practical strategies that you can adopt towards handling your finances. Why? Because you and I, who are embarking on this personal finance journey, are trying to live a financially sustainable life, and then ultimately, so we can achieve financial freedom. And today, in this topic, we're going to be talking about financial stability. We've all heard people saying, oh, you need to be financially stable and all of that. So, we need to understand this concept, and also, there's going to be practical tips which you can adopt towards building financial sustainability for yourself. So, when we talk about being financially stable, for me, being financially stable means you being able to cater to all of your financial responsibilities without having to rely on other individuals, let's say family and friends. Not often, but then for all of your basic financial needs, let's say eating, clothing, and all of that, necessary things needed to sustain yourself, you shouldn't have to rely on anybody. You should be able to pay for your NEPA bill when it's due. You should be able to buy yourself food to eat. You should be able to clothe yourself. You should be able to pay for your rent and all of that without having to rely on other individuals. Overall, the essence of financial stability is so that you don't have to rely on individuals too much, because by so doing, this could lead to financial abuse. Yes, financial abuse is when people start exerting undue influence on you simply because they are feeding you, because they are clothing you. They begin to start dictating how you're supposed to live your life. And this start happening if you are depending on them. And this is why you need to build financial stability for yourself. So now when we talk about being financially stable, the starting point for you to achieve this is by you being able to live within your means. I'm sure you've heard that maybe several occasions, people talking about living within your means. So what this means is whatever your income is currently, you should be able to survive with it. You should be able to live within that money. If you're earning 100,000, your bill should not be 150,000. So you have to first start by cutting your coat to fit your material and not your size, because you could be obese. I actually heard that from a certain Dr. Olumide on Instagram. Yep. So according to him, you should cut your coat to fit your material and not your size. Because if you only have three material, it can't size you. If let's say you're obese, you're fat, you cannot sew a full gown with it. So rather, maybe you should sew a short top like this and all of that. So it's about living within your means. This is what you have. Make it satisfy you, make it be enough to cater to all of your responsibilities. And the starting point to building financial stability, like I said, is by living within your means. So now I am going to walk you on how so far, how this past few months I've been able to live within my own means. But before that, I will appreciate it if you can subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification button so you don't miss out on subsequent episodes. So before I jump to the part where I start telling you how I've been able to live within my means for the past few months, I need us to first trash this popular notion about I don't have enough money. That's what we keep telling ourselves. That's like the boo-boo we keep giving ourselves. My money is too small, it is not enough, and all of that. It's true, your money might be too small, but let me tell you, when you get the next pay increase, after a month or two, you start complaining that the money is too small again, because you're not managing what you have at hand. So first of all, immediately you and I cannot maybe say increase our salary now. It cannot happen today. But one thing you can actually start doing today is living within your means, managing that your current salary or your current income that you're getting. You should be able to manage it now. So if you're saying you're waiting till you have many money before you can start managing it, believe you me, you're going to do the same thing that you're doing now. In fact, you might even fall victim of lifestyle inflation, and this is something we're going to discuss later. But then for a brief into that, lifestyle inflation is when your lifestyle keeps rising and you keep upgrading your lifestyle higher than your income. Before 100,000 could sustain you, now you have 150,000. 150,000 cannot sustain you again, because you want to be like the money back that you're earning and all of that. So if you don't start learning how to manage your money now that it is small, you will have trouble doing that later when your income increases. In fact, let me give you a practical scenario regarding that lifestyle inflation and all of that. Prior to now, I was working in a different environment, and to be honest, I was earning lower than 100,000. But let me tell you, that money was actually sustaining me. I could transport myself, afford lunch and all of that. I was staying with my parents and all of that. And with that money, I was still able to save, let's say 20,000 monthly. I was not good, but then it was manageable. I could manage it. And then I changed environment, I changed job, the pay increases. And to some extent, I would say it's at par to the environment that I am in, because I have other provisions. For instance, I use staff bus to work and all of that. But for the first few months when I joined, I felt like, at first I felt like, oh, this money should be enough and all of that. But after a month and two, when reality sets in, I'm like, this money here, it's like this money is too small. What can I use it and do and all of that? But I then remember that Hafsat, you're going to be earning this particular income for the next few months. So it's either you manage that money or the money will manage you. So it was a choice I needed to make. Because if I don't manage that money that I have, nobody is going to come and give me anymore. It's going to take a long while, let's say, before there can be maybe any appraisals and all of that. So I needed to find a way to live within that money. And that's what I do actually. And I am going to be sharing you the steps that I use towards achieving that. So working with a budget have been my biggest win so far. So the first few weeks, I got to remember that during my MSc, there was something I was doing, because then I was out of job and I needed to do my coursework, because I was forming big girl that I was going to go and do my MSc program that I'm even yet to complete. I needed to be smart enough to know how I'm going to fend myself and sustain myself during that period. I was super broke. So each 5 naira, for every 5 naira spent, there had to be a justification. So what I started doing was to track my expenses, and I happened to find the jotter that I was using to track my expenses that period. Let me show you one or two. This is, here I have on 4th of April 2021, toothpaste 450, yogurt 500, transport 200, and that's how I write it every day, because at that point I needed to be sure of what I am spending my money. I was writing it down every money I get, because it was important for me to justify the outflow of my money, because I had just little money with me. I need to know what I'm spending the money on. I cannot just be wasting my money anyhow. So then I remember that, I was like, after this is what you're going to do now. You need to start tracking your expenses. And I decided to sit down and come up with a budget, a tracker, a money tracker that I was using to track my expenses. So for the first 2 months, I focused on tracking my expenses, because I needed to be able to estimate how much I need monthly on feeding, how much I need monthly on transportation, how much I need monthly on utilities. Those were the 3 major expenses that I needed to be able to tell, so that I can make adequate budget for it. Because if I did not track my expenses, I wouldn't know that it would cost me at least 30,000 monthly to feed myself. I will have been making provision for 15,000 or 12,000, and it is during the month I now realize that you've not even bought gas, 12,000 is finished and all of that. So the information I had from that first 2 months was what influenced my budgeting. And in my subsequent episode, there was an episode actually where I spoke about budgeting. You can go and check that. But then subsequently, I'm still going to be talking about how to create budget, because there are tricks and strategies that you need to devise when creating your budget. Most people make mistakes when they are sharing it, when they are creating their budget. And do look out for a webinar, because there's a webinar that is going to be coming out. So watch out for that webinar, because it's going to be on budgeting, how to create a budget. So that's where I'm going to be spilling all of the nuggets that I use in creating my budget. So after tracking my expenses, that was when I started creating my budget. I will allocate my money before it even comes in. Before salary week, I have a list of how I'm going to spend my money. I've allocated for feeding, for utility, for transport, because apart from the fact that I follow staff bus, I still need to go out with my friends. I'm sure you see some of my pictures where I go to chill out. I also make provisions for personal spending on my budget, and even black tar, sending money to my siblings, parents. I make provision for all of this. I in fact say I'm already spilling some of my budgeting tips. You have to make provision for everything in your budget. And then, just like a bright light in a dark cave, what budgeting did for me was to show me where I was over allocating and under allocating. Budget was what showed me areas where I could cut down on and areas where I could save from. And this brings me to the third strategy that I adopted. So the first one is tracking my expenses. The second one is actually creating and sticking with my budget. And then the third one is saving money. So one thing I did regardless of the situation was to make provision for saving money, because at that point I needed to achieve, or should I say tackle, some major financial goals. For instance, I needed to get my own space. It was a new environment. I needed somewhere closer to my work. And in fact, what helped me achieve that one was Ajo. I'm sure you've heard of Ajo contribution. My friend also mentioned it in the last episode, where in an episode where I brought a friend who shared about our saving money experience. So Ajo has its benefit and it also has its limitations. But I used Ajo to achieve that goal of getting rent. Why? Because it allows me contribute money, and then I can even collect the money up front and then continue making payments subsequently. And that was what I did, because I needed to get a space, and instead of going for a loan or something else that I couldn't obtain at that period, it was an Ajo that came to my rescue. And this is one thing you can use to imbibe the culture of saving money. Ajo can help you because you don't have a choice. If you have collected your contribution, you have to keep paying the money. It builds perseverance, because you know that I cannot collect this money to a certain period, but you have to keep contributing. Or joining savings challenge. I've done savings challenge with 2 of my friends. In fact, I'm even using a savings challenge this year to achieve my major saving goal. So saving money was a yes, regardless. Even if it is 5,000, I made sure I saved, and I was still in my Ajo contribution. So if you want to live within your means, you have to make sure that that money you're getting, it's able to cater to your needs first of all, and then spare some to save money. Because ultimately, for you to get money, for you to grow wealth, for you to invest, you have to start by saving money. You have to start keeping some aside, so when it accumulates, you now transfer it to invest the money and the likes. So saving money, it was a yes for me. And then one thing I made sure to do during the starting period was not to oversave money. Some of us are prone to do that. Oh, you don't save money in January, you now want to save double money in February. It doesn't work that way. Don't constrain yourself. When you are saving your money, don't constrain yourself. Don't make life too difficult for yourself. And that's why you see I'm a proponent of having a balance between saving your money and spending your money. You need that. Make provision for the one you're going to spend, and make provision for the one you're going to save. Don't go and oversave, because when you oversave and you need to pay something else during the month, that's when you now want to go and break that saving. It doesn't make sense. Saving is like a bill that you need to pay. Save that money and forget about it. Yes. So keep money aside that you know that, okay, oh, I can forget about it. That's especially when you are starting. And like I do say, make sure you make provision for what you're going to spend. Don't deprive yourself of, shall I say, of achieving some of your desires. If you deprive yourself of doing that, there could be a day you could just break down and go to your savings and squash everything. So make sure there is a balance where you are saving your money. So while trying to build financial stability, there's something you need to understand. Tackling your financial goals is a gradual process. You cannot achieve everything at a time. It takes one at a time, especially with the current income you have at hand. So you need to understand that, okay, after achieving milestone 1, then you try and achieve the next milestone you get. Like if there was something you need to achieve, for instance, for me, my priority at that point was like getting a space. I made sure all my saving, everything at that period was towards getting a space. Immediately I got the space, and I started realizing that, oh, okay, you still need to buy mattress, you need to buy this, you need to buy that. In fact, this couch I'm sitting on wasn't even part of the initial plan till I decided that, oh, I need to start Money Chat with Hafsat, and then I made provision for it and I got it. It is one at a time. So you want to maybe do your program, an education program, you want to do this, you want to do that. Don't kill yourself, don't give yourself pressure, don't pressurize yourself. And that's what a budget will help you do, and financial goals too. Know all of the things you want to get, have a list, write them out, pick it, prioritize it. This should come first, tackle it first, then you move to the next one. Your current income cannot solve all of your problem at once. You need to understand that. So now, another not so common strategy that helped me actually was about me having an, shall I say, an health policy in place. Actually, I didn't get it for myself. This one is thanks to my workplace. And to be very, very honest, it has been extremely helpful. I am somebody that usually I don't really get sick, but then the change of environment and all of that kind of like affected me in the first few months that I moved to my new environment. And so there are days where I felt sick, and all I needed to do was to carry my wear my slippers, carry my handbag, and go to the hospital that is not so far from my place, with at no cost at all. This is one of, should I say, the benefit that I got. And then it's not even something so expensive. I have seen health insurance ad where you need to just pay, should I say, 1,000 naira monthly plan, 2,000 naira, and all of that. It is very helpful because this way I am not saving for a rainy days that involves me treating malaria or typhoid. I know that my rainy days is a different kind of rainy days. Maybe the rainy days where I want to go for vacation and I need extra money, I go and open my emergency fund for that one. When you don't have money, you are prone to be falling sick. That's the funny thing about this life. You don't have money, you'll be thinking too much, you'll be stressing yourself, overworking yourself, you will now fall sick. That money that you're saving, you will now go and use it to go and treat yourself again. So try as much as possible to find an health plan that you can join that doesn't require a huge sum of money. It is going to help you build a financially stable life too. Now to the last tip that I am going to share. This tip is also from budgeting. It is another thing budget helped me achieve, and I think I highlighted it earlier. So what the strategy is about, looking for ways to reduce your running expenses. So when I drop my budget, I know that my needs, those are the major things I need to sustain myself, take a large portion of my money. So I needed to start finding ways for me to reduce my expenses, some of which I've already shared on my social media pages. But then let's talk about some of them again. For instance, my feeding cost, I realized that taking food to work for lunch saved me more cost, because instead of me spending money on food stuff and then coming home to cook the food and then going to work to spend my money on buying foods that I can cook, simple rice that we eat, that let's say I will spend 5,000, in fact 2,000 naira, I will use it to cook better food with better soup, and it go do me. I will carry that 2,000 and eat it in one sitting. I will say it's lunch, and I will still come home to eat dinner and all of that. It doubled my feeding budget. And so I decided that, okay, on some days I'm going to be taking lunch, and days that I'm not taking lunch, maybe I'll buy snacks that is not so expensive. That is one. My utilities, I got to understand how much it would take me. So for some payments, they are twice in every 2 months and all of that. So I might make provision for some certain utility in this month, and then I will have to make provision for it in the next month. It worked that way. And also there are some gadgets that I got, that, for instance, a power bank. So when there is no light, I'd have to keep myself, or I don't have to go through the trouble of thinking, do I want to get a generator? Or then, please, that's additional expenses that I am not ready for. So for now, I'm going to find any appliances that, for instance, there's some solar fan that you can get, solar power bulb, and all of that you can get. So those are alternative options compared to, let's say, you getting a generator that's going to be disturbing you, and you have to be buying fuel and calling a repairman to come help you check it every time and all of that. No. So I've also seen online that instead of you buying, should I say, bottled waters every week and all of that, you can actually buy a dispenser water, and you don't even need a dispenser machine to use a dispenser water. It's more economical for you to buy that. So you need to look at ways that you can reduce the costs for your necessities. Find ways, and it is up to you to find the leaks in your budget and find ways for you to cover it. But to learn more, that's why you need to make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification button so you don't miss out of other financial nuggets that I'll come and be sharing. So I hope this episode enlightened you on the ability for you to live a financially sustainable life. In fact, what you need to know is it is possible for you to not get nervous on every financial situation that you encounter. But it is up to you to make smart money choices. When you build healthy money habits, make smart financial choices, you won't be getting nervous for every financial situation that comes to you. So to reduce financial anxiety, financial stress, you need to take charge of your finances. You need to control your money. You need to direct where your money goes. And you need to manage whatever it is that you have. First, start by managing that money, and then you can now start thinking of how to grow your income. And believe you me, when that income actually increases, you know how to make better decisions with that money. So I hope this episode makes you understand that being financially responsible is a big win. It ensures that you're not a burden to other people, and then you can control, or should I say, dictate your life. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. See you in the next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to Money Chat with Hafsat.